Number 53 in the Elvis RCA albums collection is the live album, Elvis recorded live on stage in Memphis from 1974, with Graceland on the cover. It was a big deal for Elvis to put a picture of his house on his album. This album contains the recording that won Elvis his third ever Grammy. It's a live version of "How Great Thou Art," the song. Of course, How Great Thou Art," the album, had also won a Grammy back in 1966. But this particular version won a Grammy. And sitting down and listening to this album, I actually don't have much of an impression. I didn't have much of an impression of this album before sitting down and listening to this. I had never had it on vinyl, didn't have it on cassette, didn't have it on CD before this. I'd maybe heard it once or twice. This just wasn't one that stuck out to me at any point in the past. And now that I've sat and listened to it, I'm glad I really did. This was a good concert in 1974, and Elvis is very much happy to be home. The crowd is very happy to have him home. And even though it does, if you're familiar with Elvis's concerts and the way that they were laid out set list wise, then you know kind of how it's going to go. You've got CC Rider, I Got a Woman, Love Me, and then he does a few oldie songs and goes through some of his hits and he blasts through those. And then American Trilogy and Can't Help Falling in Love, and then the end. And there are other songs mixed in there in between. It varied from show to show, but for the most part, you kind of know, if you've listened to enough Elvis concerts, you know how that set list goes. But this one in particular is standout because I think they made the wise choice of recording one where he felt like he was invested in the show. They always say that it's you can't go home, or that it's hard to go home. But man, he knocks it out of the park on this one. For the longest time, I did not realize Elvis had ever done a version of "Mama Don't Dance," which appears in a medley. It's not the whole thing, but it's just part of it. So that was interesting, and he revisits some songs that he hadn't performed in a while, like "My Baby Left Me" and "Blueberry Hill." I could go without "Why Me, Lord." It's very dated now, particularly because Elvis doesn't really sing that much on it. It's J.D. Sumner and the Stamps that do that. But as far as the album overall is concerned, I actually quite like it. Not as much as I liked as I found myself re-liking the Madison Square Garden show. But as far as Elvis concerts are concerned, Elvis live albums are concerned, this is one of the better ones, which is not always the case when you go actually listen to some of his shows from this period and going forth. But this is actually the last live album in the box set. Yeah, I actually quite enjoyed this upon re-listen. I was not expecting really anything out of this, and I found myself pleasantly surprised. So, there you go.